All right. So my first question is, obviously you played Dr. Lewis for over 80 episodes in the initial series. What drew you back to play this character again?
Oh, I feel like we weren't done telling these stories. You know, when the show ended, we had so many more stories that we could tell that we wanted to tell, and it was a pretty easy decision to come back. I think show ended in the spring of 2019, and by the end of that summer, we were already in conversations about the show coming back. And then COVID happened, obviously. But as soon as we could get back on deck, we did. And for all of the cast, it's just been a joy. We every day are like, God, we love making the show. We love making the show together, and it's been a real delight to come back.
One of the things I found more fascinating about the series this time around was the incorporation of the pandemic, right? Not
Yeah.
and my question is not related to like offset, but more set with your characters and how they utilize it to create this new killer. What was it like kind of working with that within the series?
Yeah, this is a great question. I mean, I thought it was really an intelligent move to try to think about how the pandemic would affect everyone, how it would affect this team, their lack of access to resources, their lack of access to the office. A lot of our characters have been working in the field, working on their own, or out of their cars, out of motel rooms, still deeply dedicated to the work, but with, less support than they would have had previously. And then the way that it affected, would have affected a serial killer who typically move in the shadows, rely on anonymity to hunt, blend into a crowd. What happens when there are no crowds? What happens when everybody's indoors and there are no people on the street to hunt? So it was a really, really thoughtful, elevated way of coming back into this world, and also one that was tethered to the rest of our experiences, to the rest of what's happening in the real world. And I think we know that the BAU is a real place, that these are real people, these profilers, and that this is real work. And so I think it really adds to the authenticity of the show to ground the show as much as possible in what's happening around us in the real world, to give it that veracity and that honesty.
Yeah, because it was kind of like scary in some ways because it's like, oh my God. But then it's like also it sinks you into that world a little bit because we were all in that same place for a long
Yeah,
time.
exactly. We can see with these touch points that we're all recognizing from our own experiences. Yeah.
So at the end of episode two, this is just a fun question to end the interview here. At the end of episode two, Penelope uses It's Tricky by Run DMC as a hype song. My question to you, what is your hype song?
Oh man, what a good question. I wish I was ready for this. I'd have something cool to say to you. Um, I have been listening to Unstoppable by Leon de Havas for a little while now, but my hype song is always changing. And oh God, I mean anything by Kendrick Lamar. Anything at all by Kendrick Lamar. We Gonna Be All Right by Kendrick Lamar is always a favorite.